So, what if I told you the secret to saving thousands of dollars isn't in some complicated investment strategy, but it's actually hiding right there in your junk drawer? Today, we're going to dig into a claim that could totally change how you look at every single dead gadget you own.
I mean, think about it. The last time some gadget died on you, maybe that cordless drill, or your tablet, or even one of your kids' toys, your first instinct is to just toss it and buy a new one, right? But what if tossing it is actually the biggest mistake you can make? And this is really the core idea from our source material. The argument is that a lot of the time, the expensive device itself is perfectly fine. The real culprit, the weak link in the whole chain, is just the battery inside. Now, to really understand this point of view, this source introduces us to someone who claims they saw this problem happening on a massive, industrial scale. So let's dive into that story. Okay, so let's meet Daniel Hayes. According to our source, this guy isn't just a random observer. He's an electronics engineer who spent 11 years working at a huge recycling facility. I mean, he was right there on the front lines of our electronic waste stream.
And he describes what sounds like a daily avalanche of discarded tech. We're not talking about a few things here and there. We're talking literal tons of laptops, phones, power tools, you name it, all getting labeled as junk and dumped on these giant conveyor belts.
Okay, and this is where the story really takes a turn. Hayes claims that when he first started, most of the junk was genuinely broken. Fried circuits, cracked screens. But over the years, he started seeing newer and newer devices coming in, things that looked practically perfect. The big aha moment for him? He decided to test an entire pallet of discarded laptops, and he discovered they all worked fine. The only thing wrong with any of them was a dead battery.
And then this huge industrial-scale observation, it hit home for him in a really personal way. The source says his actual breaking point came when his own daughter's favorite toy just stopped working. And the cause wasn't some complex failure, it was just one tiny dead battery. That moment with the toy wasn't just about frustration, it was also about the cost. And this is what brings us to the financial side of this whole argument. This isn't just about landfills. The source frames this as a constant, quiet drain on the average family's budget.
So let's talk numbers for a second. The source claims that the average family is spending somewhere around $500 every single year just on replacing batteries. That's for your car, your power tools, your phones. It's just this constant, slow leak from your bank account.
Now, let's zoom out. Over the long term, that cost can apparently balloon to a staggering $8,000 over a decade. I mean, just think about what else you could do with an extra $8,000 instead of just using it to buy replacements for things you already own.
So, you might be asking, where do these numbers even come from? Well, this table breaks down the claims. You've got a car battery every couple of years for, say, $150, then a laptop battery every 3 years for about $120. Then you start adding in all the smaller devices, and now you have things like e-bikes and scooters that can cost hundreds of dollars to replace. You can see how it all starts to stack up, and fast.
So if the problem is all these dead batteries, what's the solution? Well, according to the source, it's not always about replacing them. It's about reconditioning them.
Okay, so this is really the central claim of this whole thing, that most of the common types of batteries we use, everything from your car battery to the one in your cordless drill, can supposedly be brought back to life using simple methods you can do right at home.
And the process is presented as a pretty straightforward three-step idea. First, you identify the dead battery. Second, you apply a specific revival method. And third, you end up extending the life of the entire device that it powers.
And to back this all up, the source shares a bunch of personal stories. We hear about a guy named John in Ohio who avoided buying a pricey new car battery. There's Sarah in Texas who got her handheld vacuum working like new again. And maybe the most powerful one is Emily from New York, who didn't just save a tablet, she saved all her priceless family photos by reviving its battery. So, all of this, it really builds up to a much bigger idea. The source argues that this isn't just some practical tip for saving a few bucks, it's about a fundamental shift in how we think about the stuff we own.
And this slide puts it in really stark contrast. On one side, you've got what they call the replacement cycle. Things fail, you spend money, and the pile of waste just keeps growing. But on the other side, you have the repair mindset. You revive what you already own, you save money, and, as the source puts it, you regain control over your own technology.
This quote, this one really gets to the emotional heart of the argument. The idea here is that this cycle of constantly replacing things costs us way more than just money. It costs us a little bit of our independence, too.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question.
It kind of challenges all of us to think about our relationship with the tech we rely on every single day. Is this constant churn of new devices just the way it has to be? Or have we maybe just forgotten that there's another way? Definitely something to think about.